And boy, oh boy, you know what they say, Jackie, time flies, and boy, it sure does, Sheree Clark. And believe it or not, folks, this is Sheree Clark's 100th appearance on the show. They said it was
Drop the confetti, drop the balloons. Oh my goodness.
How cool is that?
How old does that make us? Oh.
Hopefully it's not the last. I mean, you were getting all melancholy here. And
I just can't believe it's been 100 visits because we've learned some pretty cool stuff from you.
Thank you. Thanks. I've enjoyed being here and interacting with you guys. You're good sports. You eat a lot of green stuff for me.
Yeah, and we also tell you whether or not we like it or not.
Yes.
And we're sometimes too truthful. So, but it's still fun. It's fun to have you here because you've opened our eyes to a whole new world of food.
Oh, thank you.
And that's the most important thing of all. Getting people just to step outside their comfort zone.
Right, exactly. That's the key. Try it or you won't know. And if it doesn't work out, well, give it one more shot and then you can throw it away.
Okay. Now, speaking of outside your comfort zone.
I was going to say, we have a lot of viewers that tune in every week, but also followers of Fork in the Road as well. And they're always having questions. I mean, we always have questions about how you got started down this path of being completely raw and learning these healthier styles. So we kind of wanted to answer some of those questions today with our 100th episode with you.
Yeah, because we asked viewers last week if you have any questions for Sheree to send them on in, so we have some here.
Cool.
So we're going to throw them at you and you can answer them, okay?
I love it.
All right, first of all, Sheree, have you always been a health nut? Okay.
And the answer is absolutely not. No. I was normal at one point in my life. No, and that's a great question because a lot of people ask me that. If you've just met me or just started following me, since I've been doing this, it's natural for you to think, well, she's always done it that way. Absolutely not. I ate the standard American diet for a really long time.
You would go have a hamburger?
I would have had a hamburger before 1992, yeah. Cheeseburgers were my favorites, yeah. With the 2 patties and the extra, everything, all that. And my motivation, and a lot of people, when they go on a healthier lifestyle, they're motivated by something. Mine was that my dad died when he was 42 years old of a heart attack. And then I found out I had high cholesterol, and my physician said, you need to do something about this. And I took that really seriously. And the way that I chose to deal with it wasn't to take medications, it was to change my lifestyle. I was only in my 30s. And so I became vegetarian, started eating more healthy, and then it was a progression. For me and for many people who become more healthy, it's not just a jump off the cliff kind of a thing. It's a gradual progression, adoption of a new lifestyle.
Because that was one of something I've always wondered about. It's like, why raw? You know, a lot of people are like, just eat from the earth, you know, eat more vegetables, eat clean, organic.
Right.
Why all the way to raw?
Well, you're hitting on something. I am what they call a raw vegan. That's the lifestyle I've chosen to adopt over time. But I didn't start out that way. When I started on this journey, like I said, shortly after my father's death, I became vegetarian. But I was a junk food vegetarian. And if you're familiar with that term, it means I didn't eat anything that came from animal products, but it meant I didn't necessarily eat anything healthy either.
Okay.
Doritos don't have any animal products in them, but they're not healthy. So I just gradually kept ramping it up, and ramping it up for me meant more raw until eventually I went, I say all raw, but yesterday I ate a baked sweet potato because it tasted good and it was there and whatever. So it's not.
So you would cheat like anybody else?
Yeah, but I don't call it cheat. I'm still eating healthy food, and it's not a dogma for me. It's something I do because I feel better. And there are times that I absolutely go off the rails, like totally off the rails, like nachos.
Okay.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have meat on them. But once in a while, I got to have that crunch and the salt and the chew. And then the next day when I feel like hell, I remember why I usually eat healthy.
Okay, so what do you eat on a typical day? That's one of the questions here as well. But what do you eat on a typical day? Because we get up, we might have maybe some scrambled eggs or whatever, and get going. What would you eat? Because you wouldn't eat that, would you?
No, not typically. But again, I also am careful that I don't want to set myself out as being somebody that's perfect and never eats anything bad, and then somebody sees me at a restaurant and I have to hide my food. It's not about that. It's for me, like in the morning is a good example. Depends on the season. So in the summertime, I'm more likely to just have something like juice. I don't believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So,
why do you say that?
Because I think that when we get up in the morning, for me, I'm not hungry first thing. And so instead of just forcing myself to eat something, I will go with what my body tells me. Most of the time, my body tells me, you're dehydrated and you need fluids. You need some juice, or you need some hot water with lemon in it or whatever. I do occasionally drink a cup of coffee. There are some mornings I get up, I've been up late, it's been a hard week or whatever, and I'll have a cup of coffee. But for me, half a cup of coffee is rocket fuel because I don't do it very often.
Now, depending on, because of the different types of food you eat, what about vitamins and things like that? Do you have to watch labeling on vitamins?
You know, supplements are one of those things that I don't take recreationally. If I take a supplement or a vitamin or suggest that somebody else does, I have a reason for that. It's not just because it's there or because somebody said it on a talk show.
Yeah, a commercial said I need to do this.
I get tested every year. I go around the time of my birthday and have my blood tested. I'm typically low in vitamin D, not a surprise because I live in Iowa, most of us are. So I supplement with vitamin D when it shows that I should. But I don't just take things off the shelf because it sounds like a good idea. So.
And one of the segments you've had with us is talking about different supplements and ones that are going to be a little bit more organic and healthier for you as opposed to
yes, do your
produced in a different
research.
way.
Exactly. Make sure that you know what it is that you're taking and that you know what all the ingredients stand for and that you have a reason for taking things, not just cause.
What about your cat? You forcing your cat to eat vegetarian too? Just feed him
Lotus.
catnip all day long?
No. Lotus, my kitty cat, who many people have met, he's been on the show also. No, Lotus, because he's a feline, they are carnivores. They are supposed to eat meat. And so I don't force things
So
on
are people.
anybody. Well, we can have that discussion maybe off the air.
Okay.
Episode 101.
Episode 101. Yeah, I don't force anything on anybody, including Lotus.
Okay. All right. So what did you bring here? Let's get to the
To the good stuff.
the good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so this morning, this would be a typical like fall breakfast for me.
All right.
And I made us an oatmeal cookie smoothie. Ooh. And they're really good. So it's got a little bit of sweetener in it. I used dates. You could also use raisins. It's got, of course, some oatmeal. I've got banana in there, and I used some cashews. I made some homemade cashew milk. So it's really nice and rich and thick. Little stick to your ribs, got some sweetness.
That's really good.
I really like it.
Again, it does taste like oatmeal.
Oatmeal
Obviously,
cookie.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
It is an oatmeal cookie.
Wow.
And you could actually, if you wanted something more substantial, you could pour that over the top of some additional oatmeal and eat it with a spoon.
Oh, that's what to do. Yeah.
yeah, then
raisins
throw
in
some
there.
raisins in there. There's some cinnamon in there to give
Or
it a nice.
maybe over ice cream.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, a non-dairy ice cream in my world, but we can sit down next to each other.
We'll talk about that. We think we have a topic for next week. So
Well, it's one of those things. Someone asked, what steps should they take? Because not everyone can just dive into what you do, but literally watch our show, and we're going to give you tips every single week on how to make healthier steps. But what would you say to someone
That's
if they're
a
saying,
great question,
I
yes.
want to make a change?
Because people do. They need to make one step at a time. And my first step, you've heard me say before, if you don't already do it, consider adding juices to your diet. And by that I mean fresh, whole, made it for yourself, not bought off the shelf with preservatives in it. But get a juicer. You can buy them inexpensively. And juice, primarily vegetable juice, but also you can sweeten it or flavor it with some fruit juices. That would be my starter for the day. Start small, maybe an 8-ounce glass. A glass this size would probably be 12 ounces, and then work your way up. That's a good way. So I'm a proponent of add some healthy things in before I take everything away from you. And I'm not going to take everything away from you. What's going to happen is you're going to add the juice in and you're going to say, you know, maybe I don't need fries today with the burger. Or maybe I'm happy with something, making a better choice. So start a little at a
Baby
time.
steps.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of our family. 100 episodes strong. It's unbelievable. And here's to 100 more, Sheree Clark, with Fork in the Road. If you have more questions that we didn't answer for you today, Sheree, where's the best place for people to go?
You would go to fork-road.com, and you can send me an email at info@fork-road.com. And I hope that you do. I hope we've prompted more questions
there
for
you go. And when you send an email, say happy birthday, Sheree, because you have a milestone birthday, and you can make birthday cake smoothies, and we'll sample that when you come back. How does that sound?
All right,
All
very
right.
good.
Congratulations.
All right, cheers.
Thank you so much for being here.